Hi guys, this is Alec and Jessica. It's October 17th, 2019, and we're doing our post-service self-interview. You ready to jump in? So, first question. Do you think you were successful and why? For me, yes, I think it was a successful experience. For me, I was able to really create good, long lasting relationships with people. And that was sort of the bar that I set. I wanted to be able to integrate and make friends that would last a lifetime. And I did that.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. The hardest part about service was leaving, and if it hadn't been so hard to leave, it would have maybe been an indicator that we hadn't made those close relationships. But um, yeah, we made such good friends there. People were so welcoming to us, and saying goodbye was the hardest part. So I think, like Alex said, the relationships that we built, the friendships we made, that was something I think we both hoped we'd get out of it, and it was above and beyond what we thought. And we've made some of the closest friends we've had, and thankfully, with technology, we're still able to keep in touch with our friends there in Uganda. From the perspective of did we go there and make friends? We did, and from that perspective, I'd say we were successful.
Absolutely. Second question. What were your biggest challenges and how did you cope?
For me, one of the biggest challenges was no matter how hard we did try to integrate, it was impossible to fully integrate just because we looked so different than everyone else. We were clearly outsiders, and we tried to wear the appropriate clothes and say the right things, use languages as best as possible. But it just I came to terms with no matter what, I'd always be from somewhere else, which is fine. And I came to kind of own that and uh, use it to share about my culture. But it was hard, after you'd been there for over a year, even almost 2 years, and know I could live here for the rest of my life and I'd still never fully be um, Ugandan, obviously. And just by the way I look, I would always stand out and be different, which was tough.
For me, one of the hard things was traveling. Getting around was difficult, and a lot of the schools that I worked with initially were too far away to walk to, and transport wasn't always available. And that was a challenge, but with help from Jess and some advice that she gave me, I started working with a school that was closer that I could walk to, and that helped tremendously. But getting around was difficult because of the limitations that Peace Corps puts on their volunteers, as well as the availability of vehicles with our organization. So the third question: what do you think you did really well? Um, well, for me, I think integrating. Like Jess said, we are never going to fit in entirely. We're always going to look different. Um, but we made an attempt to learn the language, which people appreciated. And I spent time out in town with people who were not associated with the organization, and I started developing friendships and got to be sort of welcomed and accepted as part of the community. And that was something that was pretty good. I was pretty good at just going out and meeting people and being friends with them.
Yeah, it's very true. We'd walk through town and people would be like, Alex, Alex. And yeah, I would agree. Like, I think Alec and I both did a good job of always greeting people, waving, trying to keep a smile on our face. We knew we were told how important greetings are in Uganda, so we tried to always make sure we did that, even if it got overwhelming at times. But it is true when we'd go to the market, we'd see people that we knew, go to the supermarket, they knew our pet names and we knew theirs. And pretty much everywhere we walked in our town, we could see a familiar face, which was really nice. And even when we would leave our site, which wasn't that often, but when we would leave for like a training or a holiday or something, when we'd come back, people would say to us how much they missed us, which meant a lot. And like Alex said, it really did feel like home by the end.
The last question we have, how are you feeling now, generally?
So, for those of you who don't know, right now we are in Maine and it's October, so I'm feeling cold. Because I just spent 2 years of my life living on the equator, and where we live was actually really beautiful. It was like in the 70s and 80s degrees Fahrenheit almost year round. And yeah, so it's cold here. So I'm generally feeling cold all the times. Even in the summer when we got here, the air conditioning was so cold. But on a more serious note, like I'm obviously happy to be back in the U.S. and seeing people we haven't seen in so long, and um, there are some creature comforts that we didn't have. For example, having our own vehicle and getting around easier. But there are plenty of times where I think about Uganda and I miss it and miss our friends. So it's definitely bittersweet.
Yeah, bittersweet is exactly how I would describe how I'm feeling now. A lot of the same things Jessica mentioned. It's nice to be home and seeing people that I developed good relationships with before leaving. It's good to see family. It's good to have some of those creature comforts, like a washing machine for our clothes. But I also really miss Uganda. I miss my friends in Uganda, the friends that I made, and we stay in touch through WhatsApp and other technologies, but it's still difficult not seeing them in the flesh every day like I used to. So, it's a little bit of lingering sadness for that. But I'm also excited to start the next chapter of my life, of our lives, moving forward. Any closing words?
I think that's it. Thanks for watching. As you can tell, we've changed both physically and also internally. And yeah, thanks for going along on this journey with us. It's been fun sharing, and we'll continue to share as we learn more.
Yep.
So,
Thanks, guys.
bye.